And we're live on the tube as well. Alright, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be checking out Sword World. Which Sword World is what is essentially the D&D of Japan. And you know what we'll do? We'll watch this little video. Because I think it actually provides a good little explanation. And it's how I found out about it. What is that channel? Oh, it's the one where he does like tabletop news. Oh, what is it? What is it? What is it? Am I not following the guy? Sword World TTRPG. What was that guy's name? We'll just search D&D news. The character sheet on comicbook.com. Ooh, he puts out a lot of videos. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, D&D Rivals.
We want it to feel
So we're currently trying to find this fucking video so we can just I could have sworn this was a recent video, though. So what if we do the character sheet, Sword World? Oh, fuck. News. I just realized the character sheet's pretty... pretty... Brother, please. Come on. Oh, Hogwarts Legacy. Here it is.
A lot of role-playing games have been called the D&D killer, but only one game has actually crushed D&D for nearly a lot of...
Alright, so today we're going to check out Sword World. Is a TTRPG from Japan. It's actually one of their it is like the most popular TTRPG in Japan. We're going to watch this little video from the character sheet just to get kind of like a little background into the actual, like, the game. Because this is where I heard about it, is from this video, and I was like, oh shit. And they have like a little primer out right now that you can play through. It's technically, we'll go over it, but learning to play is like a solo game. And then it has an adventure or a little, adventure you can run with a group as well. But we'll check this out.
A lot of role-playing games have been called the D&D killer, but only one game has actually crushed D&D for nearly 4 decades. And now, the actual D&D killer is coming to America.
Here it comes.
Before we dive into the story behind the TTRPG that has completely dominated D&D, why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons?
Yes, like and sub
and then
to his channel.
Let's talk some Sword World. D&D is the world's biggest TTRPG, and even with a rough several years recently eating away at their market share, it's still not really close. Except in one of the biggest, most prosperous countries on Earth, where D&D has been getting its ass kicked for over 3 decades. D&D has been trying to make major inroads in Japan since the 80s, but from 1989 on, a Japanese-made fantasy TTRPG called Sword World has pushed them to the bottom of the sales charts, and has been stepping on their neck for the past 30 years.
And if I recall, he's going to go over the numbers. And you're like, oh, how is it really beating D&D that bad? He's going to go over these numbers, and you're going to go, huh? Like, it is crazy.
6 years. All those fantasy anime you assume are inspired by D&D, including this huge wave of recent isekai anime, even hit video games like Final Fantasy, they all take their cues not from D&D, but from Sword World.
And that's what I think is really interesting, like, that, you know, he's proposing, and this could be true, could be not true, but I assume it is that, like, a lot of people get inspiration from this game system, whereas, like, over here, it's like, oh, these people that make these fantasy shows, you always hear them be like, oh yeah, I played D&D, you know, in college or whatever, and that's where my love for fantasy started, you know. But like for the Japanese folks, it's Sword World, not Dungeons and Dragons.
And it's not like Wizards of the Coast and D&D aren't still trying to crack that Japanese market.
Mm-hmm.
They've been releasing anime-inspired commercials and trailers to try and drive up interest for years, and now they've just released a brand new Japanese-themed adventure called The Oni's Right Hand, aimed at finally getting Japan and its 124 million citizens interested in the D&D brand. But nothing they have done has been able to chip away at the complete dominance of Sword World, and now that game is...
Not gonna lie, those D&D books with the Japanese text go kind of hard. They look kind of cool.
finally making its way to America. Sword World 2.5, the most recent iteration of Japan's top-selling TTRPG for, well, longer than most of you watching this video have been alive, is getting its first ever English translation and will be headed to Kickstarter in early 2026, courtesy of Mugen Gaming. And in fact, a free 60-page adventure with the basic rules is available now on Mugen Gaming's English language.
That's what we're going to go over today, is this kind of pre-release thing.
Website. Sword World uses a 2d6 based system instead of a single d20, but will still feel somewhat familiar to most TTRPG fans, and while the combat is a bit more streamlined and cinematic, overall it will definitely land on the crunchier side of TTRPGs with a lot of ways for your skills and abilities to add modifiers to every roll you make.
I will say, I don't know if I would call this game crunchy at all. And you'll understand once we get into it, but there's not really... There's a battle map, but it is not a battle map that you are classically used to. It's more like a JRPG, like Suikoden. You know, it's like you have 2 rows of guys, and the enemy has 2 rows of guys. So melees have to be in the front, the casters have to be in the back. We'll go over all of it, but I don't know if this category, like this, falls into the category of crunchy for me. You know, I feel like this is maybe. Well, I feel like, it's more like, cinematic battles. Side-based combat skips the grid for smooth cinematic battles. Yep, exactly.
It also encourages multi-classing in a huge way.
And they also have an advanced combat system, which I don't think is in the starter, but we'll have to maybe dig into that a little bit.
That is almost like Final Fantasy's job system, allowing you to create some very customized characters specified to your exact needs and wants. It takes some inspiration from the very early editions of D&D as well, which won't come as a shock when you find out that it was originally made by a small D&D group in Japan who turned their campaign into the classic Record of Lodoss War anime. But when they went to D&D's owner at the time, TSR, in 1989 to try and create an official Record of Lodoss War setting for D&D, they were denied, and instead created Sword World, which immediately began kicking the absolute hell out of D&D in sales. So,
was it Record of Lodoss War? I wanted to note that.
they were denied, and instead created Sword World, which an official went to D&D's owner at the time, classic Record of Lodoss War anime. But when they went to D&D's owner at the time, TSR, in 1989 to try and create an official Record of Lodoss War setting for D&D, they were denied, and instead created Sword World, which immediately began kicking the absolute hell out of D&D in sales. So just how badly has Sword World dominated D&D? According to Hobby Japan, the group who translated the D&D books for the Japanese market until Wizards took control of all localization in 2022, the Player's Handbook, which is the best-selling book for every edition of D&D, sold 8,000 copies of the 3rd edition version, 5,000 copies of the 4th edition version, and just 9,000 copies for all of 5th edition.
So all of 5th edition being from 2014 to 2022. Which is when that Hobby Japan stopped doing translation. Only 9,000 copies. That's literally like, a fraction, 10%. They have half the population of the US, but they sold only 10% of the copies.
And those are numbers for all of Japan. And now Sword World, whose numbers are exponentially bigger than that, is looking to bring that domination to Kickstarter here in America, where D&D is already struggling against an onslaught of huge name competition like Daggerheart, the new Cosmere RPG,
It is the perfect time to bring it over.
So if you are curious to play the one TTRPG that can actually legitimately claim the title of D&D Killer, check out the basic rules on Mugen Gaming's website, and make sure you watch out for that Kickstarter.
And I'll have the link down in the description as well.
So what do you think? Are you interested in trying out the TTRPG that actually killed D&D in Japan? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Absolutely. That's the video we just watched. I'll put that on the notepad to add it to the description later. But yeah, so essentially it is a tabletop game from Japan that has, for the last 30 years, consistently, 35 years, 36 actually, has consistently beat D&D in Japan. So we're going to go through, we're not going to cover the adventure necessarily. Okay, table of contents. It's not a true table of contents. But we're going to cover basically the how to play section, and then we'll cover some of the other materials in the back of the book. But we will generally stay away from the group adventure in case you and your group want to run it. We don't want to spoil anything. But let's get into it. First off, I like the cover. The art looks very good. And it actually has, this little the first official English translation for the oldest and best-selling RPG from Japan. 35 years of gameplay refinement, multi-class leveling for ultimate customization, elegant rules system using only 2 6-sided dice. And yes, to play this game, that's all you need. 2 6-sided dice. So essentially, if you happen to stumble upon this video, Maybe you're like a fan of anime and you saw Japan and you're like, oh, let me look at this. And you want to try this. You can literally go to the website, download the copy, go to freaking Walmart or Target, go to the board game section, pick up a pack of D6s of regular Yahtzee dice. And you can play this game. And they normally come in a pack of 6, so you and 2 other people can play this game. It's very, I kind of like this. Like, we're only going to use 2 dice. That's it. It's definitely not a game for dice gremlins, I guess. Like, if you're like a dice obsessed person, maybe Daggerheart is better for you. Maybe, well, Daggerheart's the ultimate dice rolling game because your proficiencies can get super high, and every time you're doing damage, you're rolling like 8d6 or something like that. But on the cover, it says, along the city of Harvey's many canals, a young human warrior gives his blade a final polish before embarking on his first adventure. In Adventurer's Guild Hall, the Blue Nose rises beyond the would-be hero. It is a gathering place for heroes, mercenaries, and everything in between. Traversing the skyways in the distance, we spy an airship. It is a rare remaining relic of the ancient Magitech civilization. And that art is by Isuke Go. So, there's our character, there's the adventuring hall, there's the airship, and you can see it's got, like, their art, obviously they have kind of, bring a little anime vibe to it. And, like, just this color palette kind of reminds me of, like, Ghibli movies. I think it's super cool. Welcome to Sword World. Thank you for your interest. Translating to English. Hope you'll join us on the journey. This is a work in progress, designed to test translation, art directional layout, which, in my opinion, is not too bad. They'll continue to update this one-shot, refine every aspect as we move forward, which is cool. So, maybe when the Kickstarter comes out, maybe we'll revisit this. Oh, excuse me. So I assume they'll probably update it pretty big before the Kickstarter goes live as the representative product for their Kickstarter. And they thank some people. We're not going to read all these people's names that I'll butcher. Thanks for being part of this adventure. We hope you enjoy the one-shot. And I will say, like, just looking, I haven't actually read through the adventure yet, but I don't know if it's a one-shot, man. It looks kind of dead. I mean, I guess it depends on how much your players want to interact with stuff and you guys want to roleplay and make stuff up. But what is a tabletop game? In case you don't know, I figured you probably wouldn't be here if you didn't know what a tabletop game was. But it is cool because they make this distinction that TTRPGs in the West and in Japan are actually perceived a little differently. In Japan, they actually call it, yep, here it is. The style of game is called a table talk RPG in Japan, because they call it a table talk game because you sit around a table and you talk to your friends. And in English, we call it tabletop RPG. Conveniently, both can be TTRPG, which is nice. I do like the insistence of calling it a table talk RPG. In a sense of it's like talking is part of the game. It's, I don't know, it just has a cool vibe to me to call it a tabletop RPG. One person's the GM, others are PCs. The story's only a bare plot. The players can move freely within the story, narrating their actions. For example, enemies appear, PCs can you can persuade them and defeat them, whatever you want to do. Possibilities are endless. Together, the players create a shared world and story with friends. It's not a battle between GM and players. It's not a competition between players. The condition for victory is that everyone says they had a good time. So this kind of has that same philosophy. I feel like that, putting this in and stating it so plainly is like, this is a good, it kind of has that same philosophy maybe as Daggerheart, where it's like, hey, we are creating a story. That should be the point of it. So, what they're going to release is actually Sword World 2.5. And they're going to do the classic Japanese game to English game, which is where they're on 2.5 and they're just going to call it Sword World in English. So when they go to 3.0, we'll get Sword World 2. And then, you know how it'll go. Kind of like, what's that game? Kingsfield. Yeah, dude, like Kingsfield that's actually FromSoft's one of their first games that they did on PlayStation. The actual original Kingsfield only released in Japan, and then Kingsfield 2 in Japan was released as Kingsfield in in English. So, and then so when people like, oh, have you played Kingsfield? And you're like, which Kingsfield? There's two, just called Kingsfield technically. And I think there were other games that were done like that as well. But stories set in Sword World occur within a medieval European fantasy world with swords and magic, similar to popular literature such as Lord of the Rings or the Chronicles of Narnia. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry. But similar to the popular literature such as Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia, those two references are slightly interesting to me because, you know, we all know these are not the highest of fantasy. Especially the Chronicles of Narnia. Narnia is pretty low fantasy in my opinion. Lord of the Rings is a little higher, but it's, you know, people aren't casting fireballs and stuff generally in Lord of the Rings, is kind of what I'm saying. So I wonder if the magic, because I haven't dug into the magic that they provide in the book too much, so I wonder if it's a little bit more low power magic stuff. But on Raxia, the main setting for Sword World, there were 3 mystic swords at the beginning of creation. During Raxia's mythic past, these swords brought forth gods and mortals, thus lending the game its name. There are 2 groups, humanoids and Scarborn. The Scarborn are chaotic creatures who, while sharing some traits with humanoids, are terrifying and violent. It's kind of like a matter-of-fact statement when you can, in fact, play some Scarborn characters. So maybe they should have put perceived as terrifying and violent, or often thought to be terrifying and violent, because they have been fighting for thousands of years. And the ruins of fallen civilizations scatter the world from this conflict. In this world, the PCs are adventurers. They make their living by actively taking risks, such as defeating monsters who torment people or delving into ruins in search of treasure. Unforgiven, what's up, man? I just got into it. We're kind of doing our little deep dive right now. Never played, looks interesting. It's all, yeah, it's literally just 2 6-sided dice. Yeah, that's why I got my dice right here, because the you know, the tutorial is basically a solo adventure. So we're gonna kind of play through it and check it out. Yes, there are unofficial translations. Kind of cool. Barbardo, something like that. They have soul scars or something. Yeah, see, I haven't gotten that into it. I haven't read that deep. But I know I do think it's kind of funny that they just say, you know, they share some traits with humanoids. They are terrifying and violent, and then I'm pretty sure, because I have this put like this for a reason, so we can do this. Because I'm pretty sure isn't a Lycant a Scarborn? And a Tablet, I would assume, is a Scarborn. because they are they're have some humanoid traits. And I like the profession stuff, but we're gonna get into all that. Let's keep reading here. Take risks. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's set out for the dangerous suspense adventure of Sword World. All right. So the solo tutorial, my first adventure. It's the best way to get to know the game. In this, you basically fulfill both roles to teach yourself how to play. I'm assuming you could maybe also, like, you and a buddy could sit down and one of you could GM and one of you could play and like do it that way as well. It's not difficult to enjoy. Just read read and follow the instructions to learn the basic rules. You should be able to complete this scenario in about 30 minutes. So we'll see how much I can inflate that 30 minutes to be longer. So, preparing for adventure. 2 standard dice. We got our 2 standard dice right here. And then our character sheet of the human warrior. And that's why I did the 2 windows, because boom, we got him right here now. The battlefield sheet, which I will just show real fast. And that's, I'd mentioned it at the beginning of this video or stream, which will be put up as a video. That they don't use a classic battle map. It's kind of like this battlefield in which you have a rear guard, a front line, and you share the front line area with the enemies, and then the enemy has their rear. And it feels very JRPG. You have a job like Sage, and you will acknowledge him. Yeah. This little sub in here. I'm assuming they have more classes in the actual release, but I do kind of like the multi-class deal that they got going on. But anyway, let's get back to this. We got the battlefield sheet, which we don't really need. Tokens. We don't really need the tokens either because we're on a computer. Let's get back to our guy. There he is. We're just going to call him human. So, look at your character sheet. You are now this character, a human warrior. I'm a trained fighter. There's my class level fighter. Oh, let me move my, I just realized my dice are blocking. Got my 2 levels in fighter, 1 in ranger. So, your 2 in fighter, potent frontline combatant. You also have 1 class level in ranger. This gives you the skills to search, track, perceive your environment, and do some sneaking around. Abilities. Which are here. You can understand the characteristics of your PC by looking at the ability scores on your character sheet. The highest are dexterity, which is 18, vitality, 18, indicating that you are nimble with your hands and skilled with weapons, while tough at the same time. Strength 17 is also an excellent ability score, showing you can handle strong, heavy weapons and armor. There's my strength. Agility 13 and 12 are slightly above average. They will help you avoid enemy attacks and sense dangers. 7 spirit is quite below average, indicates you are weak against magic. You do not want to fight against a wizard without the help of friends. So I do like how in this there seems to be a, like with classic like RPGs, JRPGs and stuff, there are may be some semblance of a triangle or something. Alright. Standard values. When it comes to playing the game, you'll also find standard values for many important traits on your character sheet. Some standard values include ability score bonuses. That's going to be this white column of abilities. The ability score bonus are standard values that affect activities such as jumping, climbing, and sensing the emotions of others. Check packages. Think of check packages as your fundamental skill set. Like tanks, DPS. Right. Or maybe I was thinking more like maybe damage types of like you have magic and like, in order to be good at, physical stuff, maybe your magic resistance is going to be bad. That's kind of like the push and pull of it. Ability score bonuses. The higher ability score, the larger its bonus. Oh no, we're on check packages. Check packages. Think of, hello Copilot, what are you doing? Think of check packages as your fundamental skill set. They include technique, movement, observation, and knowledge. Your standard values in these 4 areas will play a big role in your success as an adventurer. Your strongest standard value for check packages is technique, with a value of 4. So that's this top one here. Check packages. Combat traits. Adventurers often confront dangerous threats in combat with weapons, fists, claws, and spells. Standard values for combat traits such as initiative, accuracy, defense, and willpower. Where's that at? That's the squares, I guess. Yeah, initiative, accuracy, defense, willpower. Defense, willpower. Will affect your attacks. Will affect how effective your attacks are and how well you evade or resist the damage of your enemies. As a fighter, you have good accuracy, evasion, and fortitude. Your standard value for all 3 of those is 5. 5, 5, 5. And we got a 4 defense extra damage, which I think we'll cover that in a second. Chance and luck are part of an adventurer's life. In Sword World, that is represented with 2 standard 6-sided dice. In most cases, when the dice are needed, you will roll both of them and add them together. This is rolling 2D. If it says 2D, you roll them together. Oh, that was funny. It said 7, and literally I had 7 sitting there. But boom, there's 9 on the 2D. Some tables, like the history table later, ask you to roll 2D, but look at each individually. So I assume that would mean, and if the Sword World people happen to come across this, I would recommend, say roll each die individually, not look at them individually, because people are gonna do this, and then they'll pick which one they want to read first. But if you go, instead of just rolling them both at the same time and saying, oh well, I'll do 5 2 instead of 2 5, they should be rolling like this. That's cocked. They should be rolling like this. That's a 1. That's a 2. So I got a 1 2. Yeah, in these cases, the first die shows a 3 and the second shows a 4, and it's like if you roll them at the same time, it's just, if anybody gets a message to the translators or the people over there wanting to bring this over here, let them know that Western tabletop players are all about nomenclature and wording, and so like people literally look through the rule book to try to find the wording they can take advantage of. We'll learn more about rolling dice later in the adventure. So many kinds of adventures, but most of them have 3 basic parts. I like the guidelines for how to make an adventure. Receive a request, accomplish the request, receive a reward. Worse than, yeah, just sometimes they are maybe just a little worse than lawyers. Because yeah, some people get really into it. And I mean, and by default, like as a GM or DM, you have to do that as well. But the requests can vary from defeating monsters, searching for people, excavating ruins, escorting people, so on. In order to receive such requests, they might register with the Adventurers Guild. So you are essentially encouraged to, and they say might, so it's not, you could do it a little more, because I'll say in general, like joining up with an adventurers guild is not something that people, what in my experience, have typically done. Like, I've never played a game or watched a game where people are like, oh yeah, we're starting this in an adventurers guild. But I kind of like that idea because it instantly gives your GM a way to facilitate stuff to happen. It's like, oh, because you're part of the Adventurers Guild, literally you receiving a request is the start to an adventure. It doesn't have to be like, you're walking through the city and something happens and you have to go. I like that encouragement. You have visited the adventurers. Okay, we're into the actual part of it now. You have visited the Adventurers Guild branch, Blue Nose, located in the port city of Harves, or Harveys, who knows, in order to become an adventurer. And then, of course, like other things, when they have stuff in the text box, that's what you would read out loud if you were GMing to a buddy, or buddies. Yeah. Oh, y'all, I'm sorry I'm yawning. I shouldn't be tired. I took a 5-hour nap accidentally. I laid down before dinner, expected my wife to come in there and smack me and say, what are you doing sleeping? I was hoping to sneak a quick 30 minutes. And then she was like, oh, I thought you were tired. I just let you sleep. I was like, ah. Right, adventure post on the board gives you a chance to pick what you want. Exactly. Something cool you could also do is, like, you could have your players, just side thought, you could have your players come up with quests. Say, hey, everybody just think of 2 or 3 quests. We'll put them all in a group chat or a Discord or something. And then you can roll to see which ones are appearing on the board. I think something like that would actually be really cool. And that also helps your players get engaged in the adventure itself. Anyway, located in the center of the port city and waterways of Harves or Harveys, the Blue Nose is an Adventurers Guild branch that is rumored to be very hospitable to novice adventurers. The first floor is a guild hall with a reception counter, a cafeteria, and a general store selling items useful for adventures. The second floor is an inn where overnight stays are available. At the reception counter, a man with formal clothes and intelligent glasses approaches you. Oh, intelligent glasses. Wow. I'm gonna be honest, I've known some straight dumbasses who had glasses. Anyway. Oh, are you new here? He asked. I am the branch manager of this guild. Rosso, welcome. A smile appears on his face that makes you relieved. It seems the rumors of the Blue Nose are true. Descriptions of scenes appear above in the above format, broken out in box text. Usually the GM will read it aloud. This is a one-player game, so shut the hell up. But I read it aloud to you guys. It's, are you talking about a specific race? Or I think in general, the non-humanoids are known as Scarborn. But if you're talking about a specific race, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at any of the unofficial translation stuff. And to be honest, I probably won't. Because like fan translations can be influenced by them, whereas a official translation is checked by the company to make sure that it is conveying what they originally intended. There's nothing wrong with fan translations, but like I have plenty of other TTRPGs to play right now, so I'll just wait. But all right, to become an adventurer, you have come here to become an adventurer, so it is time to register with Rosso. New adventurers are always welcome. To become an adventurer, all you need is courage, wisdom, and a few useful skills. and the money to equip yourself with the minimum necessary equipment, Rosso tells you with a soft smile. From what I see, you've already equipped yourself with weapons and armor, so let's get you registered as an adventurer. It seems you have already been approved as a qualified adventurer. Rosso hands you the registration form and a pen and asks you to fill in your name and details. Yeah, I imagine him being like, you're already approved, here's the paper. Fill it out just for the ceremony of it, I guess. And you already have a name for your character? Please write a name in the box. Like I said, we're just going to call him Human. Exactly, Unforgiven. It's like fan sub anime. Pretty accurate, but some things can be off. Yep. And I watched, I don't know if anybody watches Trash Taste. I'm subbed to them, and if something piques my interest, I'll watch an episode. But they did something with the guy from Final Fantasy 14, Michael something Koji Fox, Christopher Michael Koji Fox, or Michael Christopher Koji Fox. Koji is like his in-game name, I think. But he's talking about localization and stuff like that, and how it is a big difference. Because it's like, sometimes if you translate stuff word for word, it's not convey. It may be what they're saying, but it's Koji, yeah. You may be saying the words, but it's not conveying what they're intending for you to hear. And also with Giguk, his anime, he said basically his little, short film that he did, which I thought was really cool, really good. He said that essentially, he wrote his script in English, then it got translated to Japanese, and I think he retranslated it back to essentially, instead of just like, and he was like, it is a different script, because he's like, it conveys the same meaning, but they're not saying the same thing. Final Fantasy 6 and 7 was translated by one dude. Yeah, like, thankfully stuff's gotten a lot better, and like, now there are, automated tools people can use to kind of help do some of the heavy lifting of it. But I think localization will always have a special place, because like an AI can't think about the feeling and message that is supposed to be conveyed. It can try and probably do an okay job, but I think, it'd basically be, we'd be rolling back to fan translations at that point, instead of having like smart specialized teams that it's, hey, this is my job, this is what I do for a living. But yeah, so like I'll probably stay away from fan translations just until, and like, I'm not being snooty about it, but I'm really big into Daggerheart. We're still 30 sessions deep into a Daggerheart campaign. So I gotta focus on that for now. I just wanted to go over this today because it looked kind of cool. Alright, so we'll roll the dice to determine a brief profile to add depth to your character's background. Alternatively, you may choose any histories and reasons from the tables, or come up with your own. And some people don't like the freedom or the option, but I like where they're like, hey, here's a table, you can roll, or you can just pick some stuff. You're not forced to roll, but if you're having trouble, just roll your dice. So the history table, let's determine what kind of life and experiences the character had before becoming an adventurer. Roll D2 1 to 3 times and choose any or all of your results. Feel free to reroll if you wish. So let's see what we get. And it looks like this is a 2-number scenario, so we need to roll 1. So we got 3. There's our 3s, and 5. You have or had a betrothed. This is perfect. I always wanted to just play a happily married guy. Is there a place to put this on here? Well, we'll just tell you what, we'll just highlight it. So this is our, okay, we'll just do that. We got a 3-5. We got a 2-4. You have a member of a different humanoid lineage in the family. Oh, I'm a dirty half-breed. 2-6. You had a serious heartbreak. Okay. So this one kind of random. 2-6 and 3-5 kind of go together. So you know, we can change the have to a had. A betrothed. So my character was betrothed to this young gal, and he thought that they were going to spend the rest of their life together, and then something happened. And it says a serious heartbreak. Heartbreak doesn't necessarily mean you got broken up with. That can mean they died. That could mean, you know, they were taken. But we got our 3 things, and I think we'll keep all of them. We can also just look at some love affair, bankrupt, near-death experience. Oh, turn off the highlighter. Seriously injured, betrayed, save someone, have a celebrity friend. That's cool. You discovered archaeological site. That's a typo. Site. Have a hobby you're into. Prophetic dreams. That's cool. So that's just some of the histories. Japanese sentence structure and stuff is so different. Yeah, exactly. Back and forth. Yeah, it gets kind of crazy. No, Unforgiven, you're right. You're right. I like it. She came to the cookout, the family cookout. And my second cousin, the Lycan, comes up, and it turns out that she was kind of a jackass, and it broke my heart. She was a little bit racist, so we had to drop her, and it tore me up because we were betrothed. But you know, I'm not one of those people that calls people racists and bigots and stuff. I actually think it's really cringe when people do that. But the story is unfolding right before our eyes. You made the connection. Alright, so let's do Table of Reasons. I fucking love this. And I've talked about this with my homie Tuglo. And it's also in my I have a campaign frame that I've released for good backstory from a couple dice rolls. Yeah, dude, it's fun. I like it. But I was telling my buddy Tuglo, and it's also, I made sure to put it in my campaign frame for Daggerheart. That's on Drive-Thru RPG. It's like, have a reason to be in the story. It's like, to me, it is the onus, I think is the right word. Like, put the onus on the player to have a reason to adventure. Don't sit around and wait for your GM to say, oh, well, this is, you know, present you with 1,000 things, and then you finally go, I think, yeah, that'll be my reason. It's like, no, come up with your own damn reason. Like, don't be a lazy player. Like, your GM's already coming, especially in like games like this that maybe aren't as collaborative. This seems a little more traditional of your GM is telling a story and you are interacting with the story. In Daggerheart, it is collaborative. It is, everybody's supposed to be participating in something, but I like having a reason. That generally just makes it easier for everybody. And if your GM knows off the get-go, he can help incorporate, or she can help incorporate that shit into the story. So this is your direct reason. This is determined by rolling the dice. Okay, see, and the verbiage is different here. This is determined by rolling each die once. I think they should make sure to propagate this verbiage through these sections, because, like I said, people will roll both of them at the same time and then say, I'll just pick this one for my first. Because, like, there's a big difference between 6-1 and 1-6. 1-6 is you had a love affair. Or excuse me, 1-6 is you admire someone. 6-1 is you have heard what you believe is the voice of God. Like, which in this, people can choose whatever, but the principle applies. You like jobs, eyeglasses, being a blacksmith or someone that finds ore and make new weapons? Yeah. I'm less of a role player and more of a storyteller. To me, there's like, you have game players, role players, and storytellers. I definitely fall into the storytelling heavy touch of role play. I honestly don't care too much about the mechanics. I like mechanics. I think mechanics are interesting, but like the mechanics are the tool to do the other things. Just a moment. The mechanics are tools to facilitate story, and roleplay is a result of that. On the TV. But like if you like, oh, I want to be a blacksmith and find ores and make new weapons, like that's more of like, to me that's more like role playing, which there's nothing wrong with that. My group, like of our actual play on YouTube, it's me, the GM. I'm a more storyteller focused guy. Tuglo playing the character Tuglo. He is more of a role player, and then Baguette, who plays Asterius, he is more of a game player. So we literally have the 3 points of the triangle, and somehow we make it work. And it's because we're all like understanding adults, and we give and take, from each other. So we all get to fulfill our little bits. Like, I try to make good combats for Baguette. Baguette role plays with Tug. Me and Tug talk about, I'm like, hey, let's push the story in this way that, let's push it this way, but like, hey, what do you want from the story? Like, help me out. Give me some tips on what you want in the story. And he'll help. It's a feeding cycle. But let's figure out our reason. And so this one, it only says you're free to re-roll or change it, but they only want you to pick one. Okay. 2, 6. A 2, 6. We want to be the strongest. I'm going to become Hokage. Believe it. Yeah. I was gonna say, we lean towards the not fast at all. We get a little too lost in the sauce sometimes. But see, as a storyteller, pacing bothers me. So like when things drag, I literally, I'll literally tell them, all right, if y'all are done, we're cutting to the next thing. If you're done, we're cutting to the next thing. Because like, the little intricacies and stuff, I like to hand wave that stuff. Which, that's the precise reason I play Daggerheart and not Dungeons and Dragons. Because Daggerheart encourages that type of play. In Dungeons and Dragons, people tend to treat a little more simulationist. But 2-6, our purpose is to become the strongest. Maybe we'll expand on that. Since I'm like a fighter, I use a sword. Maybe my ultimate goal, like I tell people, I just want to become strong, but my ultimate goal is to find one of these swords, one of these lost swords, and somehow bend it to my will, even though it's like a god-creating artifact of kinds. Seeing you finish writing your name, Rosso, the head of the guild branch, smiles at you. He says, now then, let's talk about work. Right now, we have an urgent but simple request. There are a variety of requests for adventurers, such as eliminating monsters, searching for people, excavating ruins, and escorting vulnerable travelers. Literally just your... I like how... and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I like how generic the setting seems to be. They're like, yeah, you're a fucking adventurer in a guild, obviously. Subclasses jobs. Well, I mean, we're just doing this this little starter thing, so we're just using what they give us. So I guess we're just fighter 2, ranger 1. All right. The variety of requests, we did that. Adventurers Guild branches manage all these requests and introduce them to adventurers such as you, okay? And he gives us one we may be able to solve ourselves since we don't have a company yet. Recently, Scarborn goblins attacked a nearby village. All the villagers worked together to fight them off, but it seems that one of them escaped. If they're left alone, they will soon gather their friends and attack again. We cannot leave them like this. Rosso continues. Worse, one goblin seems to have escaped to a nearby cave. The villagers have neither the ability nor the strength to pursue the goblin into the dark. He sighs before finishing. So I ask you to confront this goblin. There's an adventure level? And that may be some next level, because apparently they have advanced rules as well that are a little more, gives a little more stuff. But at the moment, I think maybe they left that out of the starter part, an adventure level. Which we'll get to leveling and stuff, and we'll see if it's in there as well. Like I said, I just kind of went through this and highlighted a couple things that stuck out to me. But I didn't word for word read everything closely. I was waiting to do it on stream so I could kind of give my fresh opinions on it. Scarborn is a general term for monsters that have been hospitable to humanoids. Yeah. Such as elves, tabbits, and lichens. So that's what I was saying, like, maybe they should change that phrasing in the beginning, because they're just like, very matter of fact, this is a known fact that Scarborn are chaotic creatures who, while sharing some traits with humanoids, are terrifying and violent. Maybe change that verbiage up a little bit. You know, maybe they're perceived as that. Which I also like labeling things as innately evil and treating them as such as well. Because sometimes gray areas get tiresome, you know? There's enough gray areas, nuance that's required to live in the world nowadays that sometimes I just want cut and dry. Yeah, they're Scarborn, they're evil. That's an evil goblin. Kill him. Don't try to reason with him. Just kill the evil goblin. Here we go. It literally reiterates. They are horrifying monsters that strongly hate humanoid people, even killing them and eating their flesh. They cannot be left alone, and standing against their aggression is one of the most important tasks for adventurers. For me, it's only to get stronger. It's a right. Well, that's why I said maybe they should throw in like, oh, it's perceived. You know, they're perceived as this, to where it's like, you know, it's. Yeah, a human definitely wrote this one. You can tell. A human wrote these rules because they are being ruthless to the Scarborn, even though you can play as them. Okay, so here we go. What do you know about Scarborn goblins? To find out, let's make a skill check. If I yawn again, I'm just going to slap myself. PCs will perform a variety of actions during an adventure. While walking along a path or drawing a sword may be natural, moving a large rock, checking a door for traps involves risk, and success is not guaranteed. This is basically kind of saying the Daggerheart thing of like, don't make people roll for every little dumb thing. Like, yeah, you want to walk, you want to climb up a 5-foot privacy wall that you can already see over. I'm not going to make you roll to jump over, you know, to climb over a wall. A human can become a Scarborn, give up their soul to gain power. Oh, that's cool. Heck yeah. In such cases, you'll be asked for a skill check. Skill checks are based on the same rules. Most of the game, including combat, is played applying skill checks. I like that. It's like, hey, combat is just skill checks. It's not. There's no. Wow. There's no separate mechanics. And also, I think the combat system, because they don't really ask you or want you, they don't necessarily say use a battle map. In the fact that that weapon attacks are just like skill checks, that could help with like the common hard cut between combat and non-combat. Because that's like one of the reasons I like Daggerheart is if you're not pulling out a battle map, you go straight from like role playing into combat silky smooth. And like if you're doing theater, like I said, if you're not getting out a battle mat and getting things ready, there's no friction whatsoever. You slide right into it. It's like, oh, right now they're trying to steal something from somebody. The person catches them, they're probably gonna draw their sword down on them and point it at them, and then you're immediately into combat or trying to weasel your way out of it. Making a pact. Yeah, right, yeah. Give up their soul, make a pact, and then they would become Scarborn. That seems interesting. Okay. Skill checks usually look something like this. Monster knowledge check. Knowledge, Sage, 5. Swordward uses brackets to help players know when a scenario's text is referring to a specific skill check, magic check, or other in-game element. That is why you almost always see skill checks written with brackets. In the example above, monster knowledge check tells you a specific name of the skill check. Inside the parentheses, knowledge identifies the standard value you use, which is the check packages. Knowledge, ooh, I have a 0. Where'd we go? I totally lost my place. Knowledge identifies the there we go. we got it. We found it. If there's a slash after the standard value, you must have at least one class level in the specified class. So for this, knowledge, 0, sage, none, I am cooked. In this case, the monster knowledge check requires you to have at least one level in sage. Right. Finally, the number at the end shows the target number for the skill check. So, and they have just like the breakdown of the format. Skill check name, standard value, class, requirement, if any, target number. How do all those pieces fit together? Step 1, determine the target number. If you attain a check value that is equal to or greater, you succeed. So for this specific check, the target number is 5. That means your check value must be equal to or exceed 5. So for skill checks, it is a meets it, beats it format. Determine the check value. Step 2. Determine the check value. Roll the 2-sided dice. Add them together. You may recall this roll is called 2D. To the 2D roll, add the PC standard value, which is standard value just means number from check packages there. Remember, some skill checks require you to have class levels before you can add the standard value. Let's take monster knowledge check. Oh, my music died. There we go. Strong but dumb, right. Yeah, she found out I was a absolutely brain dead dude that has a Scarborn cousin or something. There's heroes for doing it. Okay, so let's take Monster Knowledge check as our example again. Tell us that Knowledge Sage tells us that we'll be using Knowledge, standard value, but only if you have Sage. So looking at our class like we already did, we have no class, no Sage levels, so that means we can't add Knowledge. Doesn't matter, it's a 0 anyway. Our fate just rests on the 2D roll. Outside of combat, observation, technique, movement, and knowledge standard values are often used in skill check. In combat, monster knowledge, accuracy, and initiative often come into play, which is some of these other boxes, right? Combat, monster knowledge. I don't have monster knowledge. Accuracy. Accuracy is right there. And initiative. Initiative's right there. Is monster knowledge supposed to be over here? Evasion, fortitude, magic power, extra damage, willpower. I don't see anything that could be that. Maybe her parent. Yeah, maybe her parents didn't like the fact that my family had some other folks in it. Maybe that's why I need to become powerful, because I'm just gonna fucking blow up her parents. You're assholes. Alright, so we'll just do a standard 2D. The result of the 2D plus the standard value is the check value. If skill check calls for a standard value you do not have, treat it as 0. In these cases, what you rolled on the 2D is your check value. Oh my god, so sorry. 2 special results can automatically determine success or failure. 2 6s or 2 1s. 2 6s, automatic success. No matter what, no matter how high the target number is, even 100, it always succeeds in skill checks. Basically meaning, if you aren't prepared to let somebody succeed at something, don't let them do it. Because if they roll 2 6s, by the rules, it happens. If they say, I freaking fart so hard, it shoots me across the globe, and you're like, huh, go ahead and roll and see if you can do it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because then they're going to hit 2 6s and they're going to have rocket butt. But yeah, as long as the dice are rolled exactly, no matter how high the number is, as long as you're asking people to roll dice, there is a chance of success. Similarly, 2 1s is an automatic failure. No matter the standard value, the check value is treated as 0 and you absolutely fail. So if you do double 1s, you are just poop. But you get 50 experience points, which is cool. A little bit of sugar for the medicine, you could say. Right, 2 6s are nat 20, 2 1s are nat 1. But they even specify, if you roll 2 1s, your check value is treated as 0. If I'm doing a technique check with a goal of 4, like it's a really low technique check, and I roll them 2 1s and I freaking throw, you know, oh, I'm doing a technique check. Pretend I just rolled those. Oh, double 1s. Yeah, even though it was 4, and like you're like, oh, but it plus 4, that means you know, you get it. That's a 6 total. It's like, nah, it ain't a 6 total. 1 and 1 means failure, plain point blank. And yeah, how they phrase it is nice. You learn from your mistake. So you get you 50 experience points. Which, I mean, hey, if I remember right, you failed 10 times. That's a subclass level. Compare target number and check value. The check value is equal to or greater than the target number. The skill check is a success. If not, it's a failure. Alright, fellas. Let's see what we get. Oh, that's just a summary. So for this instance, it would be a 5 plus 0. So I would just have a 5. If I did this, which is actually enough for the monster knowledge check. Back to the story. Make the okay, cool. Make the following skill check. I just made it, which was cool. We got a 5, which is fucking dope. Monster knowledge is the name of the skill check. Knowledge is the standard value. I have 0. We add nothing. Sage, so I can't add it anyway. 5 is the target. Now roll. Now roll 2d. Unfortunately, you have no class levels in Sage and have monster knowledge 0. Yeah, I ain't even got. I think calling it monster knowledge and knowledge at the same time is kind of confusing. So maybe they can fix that. You cannot add anything to roll. If your check value is equal to or greater than 5, you have knowledge about Scarborn goblins. You can see this information on page 49. Oh, poggers. I'm allowed to look. So here is our monster. We have this information. Ooh. Yeah, 3 out of 5. That's 60%. You're batting average there. You know, it's pretty good for nat ones. So yeah, the monsters. We got Scarborn goblins. So we would know. You know, we're familiar. Maybe we saw one on a winding road at one point in a time where we were traveling. But they're shorter than humans with green skin, short limbs, large eyes, and noses. Bullies when they feel superior to others. These small monsters are quick to beg for their lives when they are outnumbered. Most goblins do not reflect or learn, and they are quick to commit treachery. So essentially, like, I would perceive this as they're quick to beg for their lives, but they're quick to commit treachery. It's like, if you let them go, they're going to turn around and they're going to stab you. So I'm killing them. They're exceptionally numerous across Raxia, and they work well in groups. They are not formally educated, but they are clever and often raid humanoid settlements to steal and rob. Scarborn goblins are fast, on the run, and have no sense of responsibility or solidarity with others to whom they are not close. So they basically just no empathy based. No, just kidding. So I was able to glean that information. My character, human, was able to, the Rosso says, "Oh, the goblins," and I think back to that time that I saw and observed them. You have no class levels in Sage, so no matter your result, you cannot take advantage of the Scarborn Goblin's weakness. So the way I understood that when I read it before was essentially, if you don't have Sage and you're making the knowledge check, which is the monster knowledge check, you can't act on it, maybe. But what I do like is it says somewhere else, I remember that if you did have a character with Sage, then everybody in your party can take advantage of the weakness. It's not just you. So, like, there is a benefit to having everybody do, to have a nice varied party. If your check value is less than 5, you don't know much about them. Since you don't seem to know so much, Rosso will tell you more. You can also look at the goblin data. As before, you won't be able to apply the weakness. Rosso speaks, goblins are not weak monsters, but you will be strong enough to defeat them. He holds out a map. Here's a map of the cave and a floor plan of the interior. This cave has been investigated before, and its structure is known. It's not a very large cave, and there's a dead end at the back. As long as you don't get caught by surprise in the dark, you shouldn't have any major problems. If you're successful in defeating these goblins, I will pay you a contingency fee of 200 gamels. A week's worth of preserved food costs 50 gamels. That should be decent pay. So essentially it's 4 weeks worth of food, which is pretty dang, honestly. They could, it makes sense that they would share the knowledge with their party. So if you have one person with Sage, that makes the check. Yeah, of course. It's time for our first adventure chat. Let's go. Time to go to the cave. How about this? Look, I'll even give y'all the special treatment. What does this sound like? Is that too much? Is that too dark? Okay, yeah, this is one of my favorite ambience ones. Literally just cave noises. If it's too scary, y'all let me know. The damp air caresses your cheeks as you peek into the cave. It's dimly lit and looks like it could use a light. In the items and possession column of your character sheet, you have a check mark in the adventure sets. It is Record of Lotus War is the anime. Which, yeah, to start the stream, we watched a little video with a little bit of information. It's called Record of Lotus War. That's the anime that the creators of Sword World made. Yeah. In the item possessions column of your character sheet, you have a check mark by adventure set. I don't think I have a check mark anywhere, but I have this right here that says adventure set, backpack, water skin blanket, 6 torches, tinderbox, 10-meter rope, small knife. It indicates that you have a torch and a tinderbox. A torch burns for 2 hours and provides ample light. It also fills one hand. But when it comes, I like that they offer this, when it comes time to fight, you can throw it down and it still gives some light. Tinderbox starts a fire. You can declare that you will light a torch and move forward. In this scenario, you don't have to worry about the fire going out over time or keeping track of the number of torches. So, not this, meaning not in this scenario, you should actually care. And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, how would you, like, I think it'd be cool to set a real world 2-hour timer. I like that it's such a small, like, it is the time of maybe half of what most people would run a session of. And it's like, I set a timer for 2 hours and you're in the cave and all of a sudden just the timer like buzzes. You don't hear it. I'm just like, your torch goes out. Just fucking, what? You can declare that you light a torch and move forward. I light a torch. We move forward. In this scenario, anyway. I like this. Many Scarborn have dark vision. Which means they can see things in the dark. I don't like that means that Jesus. Yep, dark vision. Does it say I don't hate, but it's like, does everybody have dark vision besides the humans? The tabbets don't have dark vision. So tabbits and humans, but elves and lycants do. I just feel like when a PC has dark vision, it can kind of ruin a tool. It doesn't ruin it, but it takes a tool away from your GM to create tension, because it's like, it's dark in the cave. GM, actually I can see in the dark, and you're like, fuck, okay. Evelyn, thanks for watching on Twitch. Sword World is great. Yeah, man. We're checking. This is my first, I ran through preliminary highlighting of stuff. Just stuff that seems important, but we're actually reading it now, and it seems really cool. Many Scarborn have, I'm gonna make this smaller because I keep forgetting to get rid of it. Many Scarborn have dark vision, which means they can see things in the dark. They may choose to attack you from the cover of darkness. Be on your guard. Inside the cave. This appears to be a natural cave with a loose curve. Because of this, it is impossible to see all the way to the back. There are many shadows, and it would not be surprising to find a small goblin lurking anywhere. You can listen to hear if goblins are lurking in nearby shadows by sensing their breathing. Ranger skills that excel in outdoor activities are often limited in caves and indoors. However, listening is equally effective indoors. Now we get to do a listen skill check. This time we actually have a ranger level, and that would be observation. And, oh, you could have scout or ranger. That's cool. It's two classes. So in this case, I'll read ahead, but what we should do is roll 2d, and we'll add 3, if I'm guessing. I can add it because we have a class level in Ranger. Yep, roll 2d and add the 3. That is your check. Here we go, guys. Let's see what we got. The old dice bowl centered. Double sixes. Yo, no way. Yo, no way. Look, look, look. Double sixes. Fuck yeah. Okay. Tell him how you're going to get... Oh, yeah, Evelian, if you're still there, when we were rolling stuff, apparently, the dice decided that my character was to be betrothed, had his heart broken, and he has some... What was it? Is it he had... How was it phrased? A member of a different humanoid lineage in my family. And then, so essentially we ended up reasoning out that, that my betrothed's family essentially, canceled our marriage and married her off to someone else because they found out that I had different humanoid lineages in my family. And I desire to be the strongest. So that way, maybe I could, yeah, earlier I said so I could blow up her parents, but we're not trying to encourage violence, but. But yeah, double sixes, dude. So I definitely pass this listen check 100%. That's awesome. 8 or more, you hear a sound, so it sounds like someone's eating around the bend. If it was less than 8, you don't hear anything at all. So I can try to sneak up quietly on them, and that could offer advantage against the goblin. So let's do the hide skill check. That's movement 3. And I have ranger, so I can add my 3, and it's a 9. Maybe I should have saved the crit for this one. double fours. That's 8 plus 3. It's 11. Dude, we're gaming, fellas. We're gaming. So I sneak up on the goblin with hardly a sound. Their eyes widen in surprise at my sudden appearance. If it was less than 9, your loud footsteps due to the bumpy ground in the cave, and they would take their weapon to defend themselves. If you didn't hear the goblin in the first place, they're on guard, noticing your approach. Either way, the battle begins. Prepare my equipment. I have my bastard sword. Monster knowledge check. What do you know about the enemy? I think I already did that technically. So, yeah, since you did this earlier, we'll skip this check. Initiative check, so we'll go to that, and then deployment of forces. So combat preparation. This is like RP, basically. Oh, I pull my weapon out of my sheath. I'm gonna use this weapon. I'm gonna use this weapon. Da 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 da. I throw my torch to the side, and I grab my sword with 2 hands. Oh, do I have a shield? Oh, I have a buckler. So I throw the torch down, pull out my sword, and grab my buckler. Bucklers are so weird, bro. You wouldn't catch me dead with a buckler. That's a 0 aura. Pretty good backstory. Yeah, for a couple rolls, not too bad, man. Release it to the ground. My sword and shield. And the torch falls to the ground. So the torch is still lighting. Which a freaking dumbass goblin, if I was walking up with a torch in my hand still. But monster knowledge, we did that earlier, which I was successful in, which was cool. What is a weakness? If one of your party members has... Okay, so this is kind of just extra information. If you had Sage and performed the successful check, then all players can apply the effect described in the weakness. And so for Scarborn Goblins, that's when they receive magic damage, they take 2 extra points. There are different, and I feel like they should maybe separate this. There are different target numbers for different monsters. The target number for Scarborn Goblins is 10. An initiative check determines which side attacks first in the battle. Initiative checks are resolved, as all skill checks are, using initiative check, initiative 11. So there's no class requirement, so I get to add it. So initiative is 0, big fat 0. Human Warrior standard value is 0, so I can only use 2d. 5. So he's going to go first. The target number of 11 came from here. So basically monsters just have a freehand porn knives. Feed, what's up, bud? Yeah, sure. Text to speech was on. Okay. Autocorrect. I meant to say free popcorn and popcorn. So the monster just has a base initiative. There's not a, and I think this is awesome for GMs. You don't have to sit there and roll stuff. You just say, okay, my Scorpion Goblin's 11. Maybe this other monster's that here is 12. You guys roll, and da-da-da-da-da. Doing pretty good. We are checking out Sword World, which is basically it's like the Dungeons and Dragons of Japan. And they are starting a Kickstarter next year for their English translation. And they put out a little primer. So we're kind of going through it, checking it out. So far my character, we rolled some little backstory stuff, and he, basically it's a solo adventure for the tutorial, which is really cool. But they got these tables that you roll. So my history was, I have a member of a different humanoid lineage in my family. I had a serious heartbreak, and I have or had a betrothed. So what me and Mr. Unforgiven over on Kick came up with is I was betrothed to a girl. Her family found out that I had different humanoids in my family, and they broke off our marriage, causing my serious heartbreak. And so now I want to be the strongest, so that way I can beat up her parents. That's wild. Yes, sir. Hey, you know what's wild is that's 4 dice rolls that prompted all of that. But back to the deal here. So monsters have a standard initiative, which I think is nice. So your initiative check value is equal to or greater than the Scarlet Goblin. 11, you win and can go first. I lost and went, so I got to go last. Oh, I get a +4, which is a 9. Still not enough. He's still going to go first, which sucks. Well, that's cool. They give you a +4 bonus because of the hide. Keep the page for easy backstory. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, that page can be used in other games. Exactly. So initial placement, and we can literally just use this. I'm not going to like rotate the damn thing to get it out. But you have like the ally rear guard, the front line, enemy rear guard. So like I said, to me, this feels set up like an old JRPG. So in battle, allies stand in those areas while enemies stand in their areas. Individuals in the frontline area attack each other with melee or close combat maneuvers. Individuals in the rear guard area use ranged arrows, spells. After the winner of the initiative check has placed their troops, the second attacker places their troops. So in this case, for example's sake, we would, you pull up on the goblin, the GM would say, okay, the goblin's going first, he's in the frontline area. Then you say, okay, since I'm second, I go in the front line. You place tokens in and I guess that's your advantage that's the balance of going second, is you get to see where the enemies are first. Which is like a nice little small balancing factor. Squadron Goblins stand front line. We do front line because we are slashing with the sword. We put the tokens in the front line area. It's time to attack. From this point on, each player takes turns playing one move at a time. First attacker takes their turn, second attacker takes their turn, and so on. Which they leave it out, I think, because it's a solo adventure, but I'm guessing you just go in order, like as far as players go, you just go in order of your numerical order. Alright, so if you are first to attack below, if you're a second attacker, go to a second attacker. God damn it. Go to avoid enemy attacks, page 16. So we're second, so we got to go avoid enemy attacks. He's attacking me, but we have a chance to avoid. Follow the steps below to determine if you can and how much damage you take if you fail. Accuracy checks from enemies do not involve a dice roll, but rather a fixed value. So the Scarborn Goblin's accuracy is 10. So you as the character make a 10 evasion check. I love this. I love this. I think this is a very good mechanic. Like having set initiative, set accuracy. I think that's so fucking cool. So we make an evasion check. Or let's get back to our character sheet here. Our evasion is 5, so we get to add 5 to it. We're trying to beat a 10. We got a 9 on the dice, plus 5, 14. So we do manage to avoid the attack. Human Warriors Evasion Standard. Yep, compare your check. Awesome. Success achieved is 10 or more. We got a 14. Evasion ties are treated as misses. So with attacking and defending, or attacking and evading, it's not meets it, beats it. It's just beats it, beats it. It's just higher. Higher is what you want. If your evasion checks succeed, he misses. The goblin splashes out with a dagger, something to jump out to the side. It's now your turn. Let's go back to page 15. Let's attack the enemy. Now we do an accuracy check. If you hit, determine the damage of your attack. If you miss, it's the attacker's turn. So make an accuracy check to hit your target. So we're looking at the enemy's evasion. So I have an accuracy of 5. Let's remember that. And his evasion is 10. So I get a +5 and we're trying to beat a 10. If it ties, it is not a hit. So that's 7 + 5, that's 12. Boom, we hit. If you miss, too bad. It goes back to the goblin. But we hit, so we'll determine damage. And what I love about this shit, dude, is that you're still only using 2d6 over and over and over again. It's so cool to me that they've kind of, it takes a lot of work on their part to say, okay, we have to give you the stats for every weapon, everything. We can't just say all swords do X, X damage. We have to write out this table that's the values of the dice and how much damage it would do. But it's very cool. Like I said, that would it seems very approachable for not people who haven't played before. Like, this does have a little more crunch with checks and numbers and stuff, but the fact that you only roll these 2 dice and that's all you have to do, and this is essentially just like random number generator, and then you have tables for everything. So for damage, we roll our 2d, check the power table. The really cool thing about it is the crits. I think the crits in this game are so cool. Top row is the result in the 2d, lower row is damage. If the roll was a 2, the X on the power table, you deal no damage, but you get 50 experience points. Adventurers learn from successful hits that cause no damage. That'd be like, oh, you hit him in the pauldron, like in the shoulder armor. You didn't do any damage, but you get 50 experience points as you try to keep that in mind and not make that same mistake again. If your result is equal to or greater than your weapon's critical value, you score a critical hit. To make things easy, critical hit 2D results are highlighted in red. So essentially, if you get a 10 or higher, it's a critical hit damage-wise. So the crits in this game aren't done on attack rolls, they're done on damage rolls. Which I think is kind of crazy in a good way, because so that means anytime you roll in the red, it's a crit, and you can crit over and over and over again. To the current evasion, roll 2d again and add that to the previous result. If the new roll is greater to or equal than the critical value, you can roll again and continue adding. As long as you continue rolling criticals, you can continue rolling and add more damage. Yes, you do accuracy, damage, and like on your accuracy roll, that is not where you crit. You crit on, you can critically succeed with a double 6, but the critical damage is all on the damage roll. So if I roll, boom, I get a 10. That's technically a crit, so I get to roll again. Boom, I get an 11. I get to go again. Boom, I get another 10. You can just sit there, if I hit 10, 11, 10, 11, 12, there are worlds where you can nuke a monster in one hit if you're really lucky, which is so cool to me. Well, yeah, when you no longer roll a critical, stop. Excuse me. And then extra damage is +4. I like that. That's a stat. It's not assigned to a weapon. Extra damage is assigned to the player. But finally, you subtract defense. So defense is just a straight subtraction, which is cool. Armor, shields, hard skin, other defensive barriers. Goblin has a defense of 2. And if, like I said, if by any chance anybody who fucking matters in the sword world sees this, I highly doubt they would. But put this monster stat block in this adventure part right here. Throw it in here so people don't have to, because like at this point now I kind of feel like I need 3 tabs open, but I'm not going to do that because then you can't really see the shit on stream anymore. So, you know, just a note, if anybody's listening from Sword World, throw that monster in here so people can just have the character sheet in that. So let's roll our damage because we hit. So let's roll our damage. Let's go to, well, we have our table for damage right here in the adventure. So let's see what we get. Oh God, please give me 10 or higher. 6. So that's 4 damage plus 4 extra. So that's 8 damage. Okay. And then we subtract defense. We got 8 damage coming into the goblin. Pause. And then he had 2 defense, so 6 damage. So that would go into his HP. Oh, there it is, 16. So he's down to 10. Let's do this. Goblin. He was 16, but he's now on 10. All right. So we subtract 2, which means 2 is subtracted. Subtract the final total from the hit point when the character's hit point is 0. After you defeat the Scarborough Goblin, we go to page 19. Your turn is now over. So now we do a little back and forth. So we'll make our evasion check. As the goblin comes in to strike us. Oops. Dude. I need to take away my dice license. Dicing irresponsibly. Let's see what we get here. So the goblin is attacking me, but I'm rolling evasion. As a 9 plus my evasion is 5. Okay, so I got that because that's a 10. So the goblin, you know, I strike the goblin with my sword across the chest. It lunges back towards me, but I again managed to jump out of the way. And so now we'll go make an accuracy check against the goblin, which is... Where is he at? Where is he at? I think I went too far. There he is. An accuracy check against the goblin, who has a 10 evasion. So I gotta beat a 10. Double 6s. Boom. So we absolutely hit the goblin, but that doesn't mean anything for the damage. Now we roll damage. That just means I 100% succeed in hitting the goblin. Oh, we rolled 2, so that would mean no damage, but we got 50 XP, which is very cool. Alright, and so with that, it would be back to the goblin. As like, you know, I strike out, and this time he manages to let's see, it would be, he puts up his wooden club and blocks it, and he kind of parries it to the side, and he's going to go in for another strike. My evasion, that's 8 plus 5. His accuracy is 10. So that's a 13. Yeah, so we managed to so I'll say I pull my sword up just in time to once again block, and I'm then gonna repeat, like I'm gonna do the move back on the goblin that he did to me. I'm gonna parry his attack and go in for a strike. His evasion is 10. I have a plus 5. I have to beat 10. That's a 6. Plus 5 is 11. So just barely I'm able to strike out at him. I make a hit. Let's see the damage. Wait, are you serious? Well, at least we got 50 more XP. Dude, that actually feels so okay. Like, at that point, I'd almost rather roll a 2 than a 3. Because, like, it's kind of like, womp womp, you missed. Or, you didn't miss, you hit him, but, you know, you hit their armor or something, it doesn't do any damage to them. But hey, you're getting 50 experience, you're learning. So, this time we'll say that the goblin had a tunic on, and I strike down trying to hit his shoulder, and as I hit, it digs into something tough and rough like leather. So now I gain my experience, and I know that his shoulder is protected by armor. But in this moment of realization, as I'm trying to wonder why he's not damaged, he takes that moment to reach out with his claws and slash at me. Wait, what's happening? Stop. The dice hit the D on my keyboard and just started fucking going crazy. So he reaches out with his claws. Let's see if I can evade. His accuracy is 10. Ooh, that's 4. Plus, I think my evade was 5. Yep, so 9. So this time, I do not avoid the enemy attack. So let me double check here. So the goblin's damage points is 2d plus 2. Is that like, oh, so I just do 2d plus 2 damage. Okay, that's interesting. So 5, 7. 7 damage to my character. His fighter, or no, his name is Human. We'll say he's taken 5, 6, 7 HP. Alright. And this time the goblin slashes across my gut. And I'm kind of wince in pain. And I'm like, I'm not gonna die here. And I fucking go for another attack against him. 7 plus 5, 12. Okay, so we beat his evasion. Now let's see if we can... Come on, dude. Oh, if we can get some crits and finish this motherfucker off. That's 6 plus 5, I think, for my accuracy. Plus 5 for my accuracy, so that does hit. Wait, did it already do hit? Or is this damage? Uh-oh. Was it Unforgiven? Is this a damage roll? I forgot. I'm cooked. I forgot if I had already done the accuracy roll. I think this was me rolling damage, wasn't it? So that would be 6. Okay, this is a damage roll. So 6 is 4 plus 4, 8 minus 2 is another 6. So we're down to 4 HP on the goblin. And the goblin kind of shrieks out, and he's starting to look rough, he's starting to look desperate, but he's cornered in the cave, there's nowhere for him to go, and he's gonna strike back at me ravenously. But with my evasion of 8 plus 5, 13, I managed to evade his attack as he comes back at me. And I will go for the killing blow. 9 plus 5, 15, or 14, excuse me. So my accuracy check succeeds. This is damage. This is damage. I can't forget this time. 8. That's 5 damage. Plus my 4 extra is 9 total. As I plunge the sword right into his chest, and he lets out a little grunt as I feel the sword go limp with his body weight. Cool. Dude, that moves like that, dude. That is fast. Dude, you could really... if you get some people that know how to play, dude, I bet they get down. Yeah, because once you kind of get the cadence and the what numbers you're looking at, dude, this thing, oh man, dude, it's cooking. I really like it, actually. I like that your GM doesn't have to roll shit except for damage, because, like, unfortunately, I am the forever GM. Snappy, yes, dude, snappy. Like, you do a little, like, you do a little explanation, roll d6, 1 to 2, roll your 2d6s 1 to 2 times, and that's it. Oh, sorry, I tried to move the mic, but I think it was still loud. Yeah, dude, like, snappy is a good word. And the fact that you're just rolling it's one set of dice and you're just fucking I love it. I actually really like it. And I am planning, probably should have mentioned this earlier, but I am planning on getting the boys and trying to run this adventure with them, like the full adventure that's in the book here. I'll see if I can convince them, but I'm thinking maybe we'll do that. Like, we're starting Daggerheart back up in January. We'll kind of do another arc, and then maybe after that arc we'll have a break weekend to play this. Whew. Now, just for the sake of it, we're going to go over the death stuff. So if you lose all your hit points, you become unconscious. Excuse me. If you fall to 0 hit points, perform a death check using your fortitude. Ooh, I got a 5 fortitude. That's nice. For death checks, the target number starts at 0. It increases by 1 for every hit point gone into the negative. And I actually like the implication of that. It's like, how bad were you killed? Like, if you barely, if you dropped to -1 or perfectly 0, I guess if it's 0, you can essentially just if it's 0 or 1, you can auto succeed. But essentially, like, yeah, if somebody fucks you that bad, like if a monster just absolutely destroys you and puts you 20 points in the negative, you're just dead. Like, and I actually kind of like that idea that it's like how, kind of like in D&D, if you go negative as much as your total HP, then you are instantly killed. This kind of does that, but it's like it gives the HP number a severity when it comes to the consequence of death. Yeah, fortitude making it somewhat easier. I mean, with a fortitude of 5 and you're guaranteed to roll a 2, well, it's a check, so you're guaranteed to, you want to roll a 3, not a 2. So 5 and 8. So yeah, so like this human fighter could go -8 and essentially be okay. But then like you said, you get to -20. If that ever happened, then you just can't make that check, because the most you can get on the dice is 11 without it being the crit, the instant success. So 11 and 5, yeah, that's only fucking 16. So it was technically, if you go -17, you have to hit double 6s, which I will say, the death check, the fact that it's a check means that the check rules from earlier apply. If you hit double 6s, you pop back up instantly, or you are okay. If you hit double 1s, you are just dead. If you succeed the death check, you have escaped your final end for now. However, you are still unconscious. Continue to awakening. If you failed the death check, you've died. Your adventure ends here. Once you've taken a moment to calm down, how'd they know I was going to get excited by this shit? And I could definitely see, like, it'd probably be cool, like, just again, another suggestion to the people who will never see this video. The people at Sword World. Take these boxes, the attack summary, the defense summary, and there's another skill check summary. Make a GM sheet. And I'd say make just a resource sheet that has like those boxes on it. Put it at the end of the PDF so people can print it out, and someone could give that to their player. Hey, this is basically the gist of it. This is your bare bones rule page. It's got your attack, your defense, and your skill checks, and that's what the game is. So if we defeat the enemy, after we defeat the goblin, we go on to 19. And we'll come back here. Well, we know we defeated the goblin. We'll go and order the book so I don't forget. So if you go unconscious and succeed, awakening. How long has it been? Someone asks you. Are you alright? You wake up and open your eyes and you see an elf in priest clothes beside you. When he sees that you are awake, he lets out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness you are conscious again. The elf also seems to be an adventurer. It seems that Rosso was worried about you and sent him to help you. It was a close call, he said. It was almost too late, but I'm glad I used my magic in time. The elf smiles warmly. You return to 1 hit point. Note this on your character sheet. You thank the elf and check the room to see that the goblin is already gone. According to the elf priest, he has 2 more friends, and they seem to have defeated the goblin. All 3 adventurers you see are humanoids, but they are not human. They are all friendly. Elves are slender and tall, with long pointed ears. They are quick and dexterous with their hands, and they tend to be good at magic. This elf is dressed in priest garb and wears the holy symbol of Tidon, the god of the sun. Tabbits are a lineage of humanoids that resemble walking, talking rabbits. While they might be diminutive and physically weaker than other lineages, they tend to be cunning and excel at being magicians. This tabbit appears to use some kind of magic, but it isn't obvious what that magic is yet. Together, these friendly adventurers help you to your feet. You finally get a good look at the 3rd adventurer, and they look a little scary. Your HP is now HP now. If you took 7 now, right? Did you add your defense 4, so 3 HP loss, so 21? No, I'm minus 7 HP right now, just from my total. So I'm 17 damage, 17 HP right now. That was just a way for me to kind of track it real fast. And they look a little scary. Lycans are a lineage with the ears and tails of beasts. They have the supple body. Balls? Oh? They have the supple body of a great predator and are often discounting. What the fuck? See, this is what we're talking about with translation. While this might be a direct translation, in English, we don't say people have supple bodies unless we're trying to get, laid. They have the supple body of a great predator. That is wild. You're guessing this lycan is a grappler, judging from the minimal weapons they carry. The elf offers some advice. For now, let's go back to the blue nose. If you like, it isn't a bad idea to go on another adventure together. You can agree or not. Either way, you return to the big guild. What will your next adventure be like? These thoughts in mind, it's time to return home. Because you did not defeat the goblin, your quest has failed and you will not receive a reward. Aww. Surviving the adventure is its own reward, though. You can go back to the beginning of the adventure again. If you decide to go on an adventure with yourself or a group of friends, someone can lead the next scenario as a GM. If they're going to be the GM, it's a good idea to read the scenario in advance, but it's not required, which is cool to say. Whichever path you choose, have a good, adventurous life. So that's the alternate reality where we went down. But in this reality, we defeated the goblin. We can take loot from the goblin. Look at the loot table at the bottom of the monster data and roll 2D. You get the loot corresponding to the roll. Let's check out Mr. Goblin, see what he's got. So he has loot may represent objects and baubles. While loot may represent objects and baubles, it can only be sold. So literally, the stuff they have here, it has names, but it literally doesn't matter what the name is. Like, obviously if you wanted to, let someone use, like, if you take a crude weapon off the monster and you're still adventuring and, like, someone's like, I take my crude weapon and chunk it at them, if they have rules for improvised damage and stuff, obviously you could use that. You say, hey, you're going to lose 10 gold. But essentially, the whole point of the loot is loot. You're meant to sell it. So let's see what we get. What y'all think? I'm hoping for a 10. Rip. We did get the crude weapon worth roughly 30 gamels. Black and white, huh? NG black and white B? What is that? Black and white B part doesn't... Huh, I think maybe that's an artifact of earlier design or something, maybe. Seems that you have defeated the goblin without incident. You look back and see an elf priest approaching you. Rosso asked us to check on you because he was worried about you being alone, but it seems it was a needless worry. Behind him, there are 2 more adventurers, one resembling a human-like rabbit, and the other with the ears and tail of a beast. With a sense of relief, you realize these adventurers are all friendly. It's time to get out of this cave. Together you walk into the sunshine of the outdoors. This must be the Tablet. All 3 adventurers you encounter are humanoids, but they are not human. This is the stuff we read already, basically elves, tabbits, and lycans, introducing you basically to the other 3 races they include in this, the other 3 characters they include in this starter. Now that you think of it, perhaps they would be good adventurers to work with. As if they read your mind, the elf offers some advice. For now, let's go back to the Blue Nose. If you'd like it, it isn't a bad idea to go on another adventure together. You can decide whether or not what will your next adventure be. These thoughts in mind, it's time to return home. Because you completed the request, you receive 200 gamels as a reward from Rosso at the Adventurers Guild branch. Please note the reward of 200 gamels plus the loot on your character sheet. What you do now is up to you. If you decide to go on to an adventure with a new group of friends, someone or yourself can be the GM. If you're going to be the GM, it's often a good idea to read ahead, though you don't have to. Whichever path you choose, have a good, adventurous life. This concludes part 1. Game, primer, and solo adventure. I really liked how that was presented. Like the whole, you kind of play the game with yourself to learn the rules. Like, I honestly feel like I get the flow of it now because of how it's presented. Which, of course, now we're going to just take a look at some of the other supplementary stuff. And I mean, dude, they have like 20... Okay, so 45. And turn this off. Dang, okay. Yeah, so from 21 to 4, there's 25-page adventure stuffed in here as well. Well, let's kind of look at some of this other stuff here. At the end of a session, adventurers can become more powerful in several ways. Players can purchase new class levels by spending experience points. Additionally, ability scores can increase during rolls observed by the GM. Very interesting. So basically, you use experience to purchase classes, like levels in the classes. Primaries are bigger, and that's like your main class, obviously primary. It costs more experience, and the secondary adds everyday utility to your character and greatly affect how skillful they are. And it's like, I don't know if there is like a ranger main class, like primary ranger class, or if it's only secondaries. I'm sure Like, I would assume there is a primary ranger class. But I don't think it's like, you know, what people are maybe used to of, you know, no, Unforgiven, it doesn't show it. This is all the classes that are in it. Because it basically just kind of gives you character sheets. It doesn't really give you class breakdowns of everything. It just kind of gives you character sheets with pre-filled stuff. Sag, Ooman of Fortune, what's up, dude? So secondary classes, it seems like they have separate things. It's not like I say, oh, I'm a boxer, and then I'm gonna take a secondary priest, unless they have priest as a secondary class. But yeah, like I said, you look, I'm 20% of the way to a secondary class from my 2 double ones that I got. Example. If the player of a human warrior wants to grow their fighter class from level 2 to level 3, they must spend 1,500 experience points. They instead wish to learn a new sage level, 500. If they want to acquire level 2, they have to spend another 1,000, for a total of 1,500. That's cool. Now, let me turn some, we're out of the cave now, I guess. Let me turn some music back on here. This one is a certified Jams TV classic. A certified Jams TV classic. So an adventure's character level is the same as the highest class level achieved. Class levels also increase. A PC's HP limit will also increase. If you gain class levels in spellcasting class, Jesus Christ. If you gain class levels in spellcasting class levels, their MP will also increase. Not yet, Unforgiven. Are you powerful enough to take revenge on your ex's parents? Not yet, not yet. We have to get stronger. We're not ready yet. Her dad is a powerful mage or something, you know, some bullshit like that. Standard values for skill packages and others may grow as you level up. The core rulebook. Holy fuck. The core rulebook will provide additional details, as well as many other options for growing PCs. Okay, I thought this was cool because it literally made me think of like an end screen in a JRPG or like Final Fantasy where, you know, when you hit the level up, like it like goes to your stat screen and it literally gives you like 1 or 2 points and a couple of stats. So when a session is completed, ability scores may increase. It doesn't matter whether the quest was successful or not. Ability scores grow randomly, and the player should roll 2d while observed by the GM, noting the roll of each die and which ability it corresponds with on the table below. Where's the table? There's a table here. We'll go ahead and do that real fast, just for funsies. Let's see what I got. So we roll both of them. I got... Dude, that is fucking magic. I've rolled 3 double ones tonight. Yeah, Unforgiven. We're the same, I guess, dude. You were talking about how you kept rolling ones in freaking Baldur's Gate. But double one, so that means my dexterity. Essentially, if you roll 2 different numbers, you choose either one, and if you roll the same, it is that. So I would increase my dexterity by 1. Which what that means is my dexterity is now 19. That's cool. Alright, GM tip. Game masters can advance too. One of the best things a GM can do after playing is discussing impressions of the game with other players. Gee, I'm cooked. I'm cooked, y'all. Thank the players. Great game is made more enjoyable because you have each other's company. In this way, you can always climb higher as a GM. Monster data. It is interesting to me this game does have an intellect stat that is directly tied to, the only thing it's tied to, I believe, it seems, is behavior. So your intellect is like reason and plan. Like if they have high intellect, you should play them very planned out tactically. But if they have super low intellect, you just play it like a dumb fucking animal. Perception. Obviously, that's for, they can see if the group's trying to sneak up or not, or if they're scanning the area, they'll find them. Disposition, general temperament. That's in, like, they have a lot of interesting extra stats for the monsters. Soul scar. This is how damaged the monster's soul is by resurrection in prior lives, exposure to chaos energies, or other sources of spiritual harm. Language, habitat, reputation, weakness value. That's their monster knowledge check value. The first number is the target. Okay, what is this? Reputation. Rep week. Oh, there it is. Rep week. So that means the first number is the target number to know the data in the stat block. So it's two. I get it now. Reputation and weakness. These are the targets. So if anybody can roll the 5 and learn of its reputation, right? That's all this text under here. The weakness has to be hit by someone with Sage. Oh, that's cool. They have like a reverse version where you can use the... Yeah, that's cool. I mean, realistically, a lot of these monsters have the same stats. You know, they literally just have to, you'd have to give them a weapon table instead of damage points. But like, it's got defense, hit points, MP. You'd have to change the initiative, obviously. But it has an accuracy and evasion, yeah. I can see that. Yo, I'm falling asleep. Feed. Glad I could lull you to sleep. Yes, sir. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you stopping by. Hope you get some good rest and have a good day on the morrow. Have a good one, man. We'll see you later. Weakness. Okay, we know that. Okay, the weakness, actual weakness, is below the name, magic damage. And then it just gives you a plus value, which I like that. Initiative, that's what you're trying to beat. Movement speed. which is interesting because generally you're not gonna have. It seems like they want you to. I'm really excited to see the advanced rules because it may have more of the map stuff. Because I do like battle maps. How am I liking the game, dude? It looks really cool. I will be probably kickstarting it if I got the money when it comes around. And if I don't kickstart it, I will purchase it whenever it comes out, at least a standard regular copy of it. Because I think this is really cool. I like the 2 dice because it simplifies one part of it, and it's not everybody, not everybody likes to have a whole sack full of dice. Not everybody wants, like I have this whole little box filled up with dice, and this pales in comparison to people's collections. Like there's all my dice. But, just only using 2d6, I think is actually really good. And like, yeah, it takes some work on their part to come up with like I said, the damage table for every single weapon that they put in the game. Yeah, that's a little extra work on their part, but it makes for a cool system for the user. And I know that they have all sorts of... The backstory maker was cool too, yeah. Which I like that, like, already I know that they have like 3 volumes, at least, from what I've seen, 3 volumes of 2.5. So they have a bunch of stuff already out for this game. So that's kind of like what I'm excited for, is that if it does good, then they'll just like start releasing all that other shit. Which that's what you need for a game like this, where it's like you have your, semi-crunchy rules that are kind of set in stone things. It's like, I will say one thing about this game is like it would be hard to improvise a adversary. It's not impossible. It can be done. I'm not even saying it's too hard, but it could be a point of friction where it's like, I'm not really sure what all of these 20 different stats should be. But just to continue on what's there, movement speed, like I said, I assume movement speed might come in handy with the advanced rules, because as of right now, for these rules, it suggests you use that simple battle map. Those numbers with parentheses. The numbers for fortitude, willpower, accuracy, and evasion are bonuses added to 2D to determine target numbers. Okay, so I guess maybe like if you make a willpower check for the monster or something. Like I said, some of the stuff that they didn't teach us how to use, I assume, kind of comes into play with either more regular rules or the advanced rules. How much damage, obviously defense, obviously we know that, HP we know that, MP we know that, unique skills. The goblin doesn't have any, but we'll check out some of the other ones. Loot. I think the loot system's kind of cool that they have that as a part of the adversary stat blocks. That it's like, it is built in that, hey, throw some loot in there that's literally just worth some money. Description. The final section details important world lore, which is kind of what I would assume. That's like the reputation, like you would know kind of like this stuff if you know their reputation, if you succeed that reputation check. I think I saw you can have a nemesis or something, like an enemy you defeat escapes and run into larger, later, stronger, kind of like the Final Fantasy games. Yeah, kind of like Shadow of Mordor as well. Like the Nemesis, that sounds cool, a Nemesis system. It would be the X's dad, yeah, exactly. But we already looked at the goblin. You know, we fought him, kicked his ass, based. So they also in here have some gargoyles, which spoilers, you know, this might be spoilers for the adventure. Assumedly these enemies are in the adventure and that's why they're here in this primer. This starter guide. Gargoyles are exceptionally intimidating statues. You can monster knowledge check to... Oh, it can't be performed on them while they're using the mimicry. That's cool. If they approach the unaware gargoyle, if they approach unaware of the gargoyle, they could perform a danger sense check. If they fail, the gargoyle gets a surprise attack and that mimicry ends. And also if they act in a non-statuesque manner while observed, okay. Oh, a gargoyle can perceive magic as if using the spell Sense Magic at no cost. While flying, they get a +1 to accuracy checks and evasion checks. Or fixed target numbers. For melee. So their movement speed's 1530. Movement speed's 11. Yeah, I'm very interested in this movement. I'm ready for those advanced rules, honestly. I'm kind of hungry for them now. Yeah, 1530 when they're flying, okay. So this, you know, this looks a little tougher than the goblin. It has a weakness, bludgeoning damage. This is a golem. So essentially with the mimicry, you have to have the danger sense check of 12. The Radorn. Improvised version of the security Dorns, produced in large number by the Magitech civilization. It's about 2 meters tall and has a face resembling that of a human child. Form is covered with hard metal. Its arms act as large hammers. Used to attack, Radorn moves with more agility than expected thanks to the wheels on its legs. A little bit more accurate. Pervasive. Still not crazy scaled up though, which is cool. Oh, I see. I just noticed they have perception. So like, okay, so like the goblin has their 5 senses in dark vision. The gargoyle can use its 5 senses in magic. The Radorn can only use sight, hearing, and touch. That means if you rip a nasty fart, you won't have your cover blown. Fast combos are crazy. Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to this. So, how to cast a spell. You declare the magic, consume the MP, make a spellcasting check, and apply the effect. Pretty easy. If the target of the spell tries to resist, then the spellcaster will make a spellcasting check. Okay, so spellcasting checks go against willpower. Cool. Spellcasting check, higher value than the willpower check, check value, check. And then you apply the effect. Cool. Let's look at just skip ahead and look to some magic. Field protection. Takes MP3. One area, 3 meters. Up to 5 targets. Fuck. So what I would, yeah, no speaking, right. What I would assume is that one area means backline, frontline. You know, like, oh, I can cast this on the backline, or I can cast this on the front line, up to 5 targets. The range is caster. Format none, duration instant, resistance inevitable. You cannot resist. For the next 18 rounds, 3 minutes. So they use the 6 second per round. The target takes 1 less point of physical and magical damage. They also gain poison. Okay, I was gonna say that's kind of lame, but the poison immunity, disease immunity, curse immunity seems cool. Cure wounds, MP3, 1 target, 1 range, 10 meters. Yeah, the ranges arc is slightly confusing right now, but I think, you know, that'll be cleared up in the future. The bones of what I'm seeing, I like. So cure wounds is restore the HP. You roll 2d for the power table here. You could restore potentially up to 7, but more likely, you know, 3 to 5 HP restored. Oh, that's cool. They actually throw in here that you can use cure wounds to damage undead. That's cool. Awaken MP5. 1 character. 1 or 10 meters. Specified point. Instant. Optional. Resistance. Essentially, this is a get off the ground, you know, restore to 1 HP type deal. Sunlight, an arbitrary point with 2 range. So it seems like a range is 10 meters. Well, this is 230. Anyway. Sunlight, fill the area within a radius 20 meters from target filled with light. It can be cast on an object instead, which can then be carried. That's cool. Just a couple little utility spells. True speech spells. Energy bolt. This one you can crit. Shoots an arrow of pure mana, inflicting magic damage. You add your magic power. That's cool. So just a classic energy bolt. Damn it. Dull weapon. Physical damage from melee and range attacks caused by targets reduced by 4. That's cool. Literally debuff them. Like in Final Fantasy healing spells. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Light. Radius of 10 meters. Effective with light. Yep. Okay, so there's divine spells and there's true speech spells. Since magic, the spell determines if the target is enchanted. Detailed information is not known. That's cool. Vitality, the target's fortitude is increased by 2. Basically helping you stay alive if you go down. Some common skill checks. I'm not going to go through all of these. But I actually do like that they included this. Where it's essentially just a list of stuff that could be done and what checks to use for it. Like disabling 2D plus technique, hide 2D plus movement, acrobatics 2D plus movement, initiative 2D plus movement, search 2D plus observation, listen 2D plus observation, praise 2D plus knowledge, monster knowledge 2D plus knowledge. You got techniques, movement check package skills, observation, knowledge. Basic jumps are 2D plus adventure level plus agility. That's pretty cool. I like that. So there's some basic checks that don't use the check package. They use your level and agility, or level and modifier. So resistance checks, willpower, 2D plus spirit, fortitude, 2D plus fortitude. LOL. 2D plus fortitude. That's cool. This is character, the art looks really cool in this game. Like in this book, the art looks fucking sick. And then we have our classes that are included. We have a human, fighter, benevolent ranger. Got some sword, some life grass. We played with him. This is actually cool. The lineage characteristics. So like the little extra powers are really cool. Once per day, a PC with this trait can flip over both dice after a roll to their opposite sides. So essentially, if you roll double ones, you could say, wait, I'm going to use my sword's grace. And then you can flip those over to the 6. And essentially, if you have two low numbers, so like on a D6, there is a chorus there. The number on the opposite side is, if it's 3 or below, the number on the opposite side is higher. If it's, 4 and up, the number on the opposite side is lower. The Frank Toe, thank you for tuning in on Twitch. Feels like this section could be streamlined a bit. New TTRPG. This is actually a 35-year-old RPG, but it is from Japan, and next year they're doing a Kickstarter to get it rolling in English. So, there's going to be that friction of it's from a place with a totally different language system, and so that language influences thought, which influences design. The things may seem a little spastic for us, but I think in time it'll get good, more streamlined, and of course with anything, the more you learn, the better it gets. Now this, I will say, this is a 2.5, so it came out in 89 and they are now on 2.5, but of course, like with other Japanese properties, they are on 2.5, but they won't release it in the US as 2.5. They'll just release it as Sword World instead of Sword World 2.5. And then when they move to 3, we'll get Sword World 2, which is actually Sword World 3. It's like Kingsfield. So combat feats, Power Strike. Basically, you get to declare, do 4 more damage, and you have a -2 penalty to your evasion. Cleave. Combat feat allows wielder to swing large weapons using 2 hands. Essentially, that's the two-handed table right there where you can do some more damage. You must declare before it's rolled. You can attack up to 3 different enemies using the same accuracy check, but each attack does 3 less damage. Oh god, that was weird. Sorry. Class level competencies. Using medicine. That's Ranger class. 1+. When a character Ranger class uses life grass, they gain a bonus modifier to its restorative effect. It's class level plus dexterity. The result of the power table. Dang. That's big. Big medicine. Scantily clad, furry Otsutsuki eyes. Looking cool. So the Lycant, also for this one, they have a 2 in Grappler, 1 in Scout. A little different from Ranger. But this Scout also has 0 knowledge. Evasion's a little higher. Accuracy's the same. They have initiative, no defense, as opposed to the fighter. They have beast form, dark vision, chain attack, weapon proficiency, throw attack. They're muscular and lithe lineage with beastly ears and a flexible tail. Essentially, they can kind of turn their face more beastly, apparently. Using this ability changes the PC's head into an animal-like form and increase their physical power. In beast form, they add 2 to their strength, resulting in 2 extra damage. They gain dark vision. They can no longer speak in any language other than Lycant. "10 seconds or 1 round." Okay, so their round in battle is 10 seconds as opposed to 6. Which is very cool. Always thought 6 seconds felt... Sorry, my chair is so fucking loud. Always felt 6 seconds was just a little too short. I like 10. That sounds pretty good. No other reason other than I just think it feels better. So your combat defeats chain attack. So you make a melee, you can do another one. But no attack can be two-handed. Throw arrow cannot be incorporated. Throw attack cannot be incorporated into a chain. Oh my god, imagine if you like just do mega crits on both attacks. Weapon proficiency A, fighting. It's now possible to equip A rank fighting weapons. They add 1 damage to wrestling. I do like that. Adventure level 3, you just get to add 1 to your evasion. Throw attack. Grappler class. When in melee combat, they can grab an opponent with 2 limbs and throw them. The opponent falls prone, you get the -2 to accuracy and evasion. Nice. The elf. She got a dog's out. What the hell? The Frank Toe. I don't know if you're still on, still watching. I'm gonna run this ad. That way it doesn't catch us off guard. And I'll wait until the ad's over to keep talking. I do not mind. I'm gonna go ahead and bust this shit out real fast. There we go. Just a minute. Just a minute. Like Final Fantasy. Yeah, exactly. Unforgiven. Exactly. It's so funny. And I'm like, why are the people releasing it in America letting them do that? Oh. Ad break ended. Your community is back. Alright, so we should be back over. I just didn't want to... I didn't want to, you know, didn't want you to miss out on anything. So we've moved on to the elf now. The elf... looking pretty similar. Good lord, this dude's stacked. This chick is stacked, excuse me. This lady. Now, big difference from the other ones, her strength is really low. She has no check packages. Evasion is 0. But magic power is 5. Extra damage 4. Willpower 4. Let's see. Their slender tall lineage. Yeah, we read that earlier. Character has acquired 2 class levels in priest and can handle divine magic. And we went over this divine already. They have marksman class levels and can attack by shooting arrows from the rear area. They have no melee combat. It could be fatal to go to the front line. Essentially, yeah, they're saying right here, your job is to freaking keep everybody alive so they don't come wreck your stuff. They've not learned Scout, Ranger, or Sage. They're not good at search checks. Leave that to your companions. Sword Grace. They can spend 1 hour underwater and suffer... What? Sword's Grace, Gentle Water. They can spend 1 hour underwater and suffer no penalties for travel checks, skill checks, spellcasting checks, or casting spells. They add 2 to resistance checks against poison and disease. Why the hell is Sword's Grace the name? They have dark vision. Yay. Targeting. Even if they cast spells or fire weapons into a skirmish area where enemies and allies are mixed together, they will not accidentally hit unintended targets. Yeah, because there is something about the range of things where range. So, range 1 means magical reach in adjacent area. Where is the... Oh, this is it. The format. The shot. If the spell is fired into an area containing both PCs and enemies, the target is randomized. Unless they have targeting. Roll a single die to determine who is hit. Or if it's a point, specified point, there's no chance it will affect other things. So there's either shots or specified points, which is very, very interesting. Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. Since the swords in the lore are seen as divine, I get it. But yeah, because the elf here has targeting, she doesn't have to worry about hurting her friends. Meta magic, number, class level 3. Same spell can be cast on multiple targets at the same time using the same action. The spellcasting check is performed only once. MP consumed is paid for each target. Okay, that's good. For example, 3 MP cost is used on 3 targets, 9 total. Then they have Divine Magic, a pre-specialized defensive and restorative magic. You get the Divine Magic list. Okay. And the last one here is a Tablet. Pretty similar spread to the... Oh, the dexterity super low, though. That's kind of weird. But their intelligence is 26. God, dog. Here's the Sage, finally, with the big fat 5 in knowledge. But their accuracy 0, their evasion 0, initiative 0. But magic power 6, willpower 5. Yeah, this is the magic person here. Sorcerer. Habits are rabbit people. We already went over that. Lineage characteristics, 6th sense, a danger sense check, which normally can only be performed with Scout or Ranger class levels, can be formed using total class levels plus intelligence. Whoa. That's huge. Targeting, they have targeting as well. We already went over targeting. Meta magic, we went over that. True speech. Sorcerer spells specialize in offensive and curse magic. and knowing the weakness, which is the sage thing, where you get to know the monster weakness stuff. That's cool. That's it for now, I suppose. Japan's #1 fantasy RPG, Sword World. The first official English translation for the oldest and best-selling RPG from Japan. 35 years of gameplay refinement, multi-class leveling for ultimate customization, elegant rules system using only 2 6-sided dice. Sign up for updates. SwordWorldRPG.com. Also have the link pinned in the chat. It's in the description. And all the chats, actually, I think I got it pinned. So, you know, if anybody's watching, y'all can click that, and you throw in your email to Mugen Gaming, which I think is the people that are going to publish it here, maybe. And they shoot you an email with this starter guide. So if you're kind of interested, I would definitely check it out. It seems cool. You can run the solo learning adventure by yourself, which is what we did tonight. We did the solo tutorial, which was actually ended up being pretty fun and a nice way to learn the basic mechanics. And then after you do that, on page 21, so from pages 21 to 45 is literally a whole little adventure that you could run with up to 5 people, with one serving as the GM. So, and like I said, I might be able to get the boys together and let them, you know, run them through it and see what they think. Get some player opinions as well. But I do believe that's going to be it for Sword World. I am going to end the YouTube stream. I'm low-key in my head debating whether or not I'm going to play some Ashes before I go to bed. But it is getting kind of late, and I am kind of tired. We'll see. I am going to go ahead and end the YouTube. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I do lots of Daggerheart content. We got some actual plays, some discussion videos. Also made a campaign frame for Daggerheart. Still kind of a work in progress, but it is discounted on Drive-Thru RPG. It's called Conduit. I'll throw that in the description as well. But YouTube, thank you for watching. Follow on Twitch and or Kick if you ever want to stick around for more than just the... Because I'm essentially going to start doing stuff like this where I will start the stream and end the stream to kind of capture a video, essentially. But thank you, YouTube, for watching. We'll see you later. Peace. All right. The business stuff is done.